Can we film this upside down for our viewers back home?
Yeah, so we can send it home. Priscilla?
I'm Stijn.
Yeah, we're married, but we're also the main power behind This Is Not Rocket Science. Recently we've been making modules in Eurorack format, and coming up is a bigger system called Phoenix, which will be compatible with Eurorack format.
So describe Phoenix.
The Phoenix is based on a design from Synton, an old Dutch synthesizer company, still around under the name Syntonovo, trying to release other things soon. But we sort of inherited a bunch of their old design files and schematics, and we're reimagining it into a 2019 worthy system, with all of the analog goodness and a bunch of new digital goodness in one contained 19 by 19 inch box, which we hope to show at Super Booth this year.
So it's a synth, and it's a what kind of synth?
It's a fully modular synth box.
Yeah.
It's sort of a full Eurorack system inside a single container that contains everything you need to.
So kind of like a semi-modular.
A fully modular. You still need to patch your own sound before it does anything.
Okay.
But it does have all the things. So USB inputs and nice TRS balanced outputs. So you can just plug it in and go. You don't need anything else to make sound. So that's going to be the Phoenix, and there's some noise about it online, but we really hope to show it beginning of May, because we are now at the early production prototypes, and by the time May comes around, we should have them physically in our hands and show you all the things what they are.
Because Super Booth is a pretty big show. I mean, that's the main show of the year.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, it's always a bit scary and big. We know more about how the booth is going to look than how our product is going to look at this point. But
you do have products to show.
We do have products to show. We all have our older range, and there's also another thing we're working on with the Synton guys, which is their new keyboard synthesizer, PAN. They also aim to show it there, and then do a ground unveiling and a whole bunch of interesting demos.
Yeah. So we'll have a booth together which has kind of a different setup. There'll be sort of artsy headphones that you can put on, connected to either a demo of the PAN or a demo of the Phoenix. So we know more about that than the Phoenix, because it's a very old setup that Synton used to use for Ensoniq.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, but they still had the whole setup, so we tried refurbishing the headphones and reusing the thing smaller, because they had a setup of 21 headphones. And we're just using 9. Yeah.
Well, it's good to recycle old Ensoniq stuff.
Yes.
If nothing else. Let the Ensoniq name live on. So you guys have got obviously some modules here that you've flown in with.
Yes.
To kind of show off.
A few stock for Tin Shed.
Yep.
And just our own to play with, to demo.
So you've got the wobbler.
We have a wobbler.
And you've got, at this point I'm going to get you to...
Tuesday,
thank you.
And the edge cutter.
Yes.
And our rectangular thing.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And we also have another one, but that's not produced, so nah.
So, wobblers actually, I like the wobbler.
Thank you.
A bit of a look at that. It's a really interesting LFO as far as I was kind of watching it going, this is really kind of...
Have you played with it yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of storyline going on in there, and part of the storyline is in the shape knob that it has. You can have it has 5 different modes, and the leftmost mode is what you'd normally expect from an LFO. You have a sine wave triangle, so pulse, just a normal LFO, and the further right you turn the knob, the more intricate the modulation becomes. It starts to use more and more physical modeling things, and beyond the physical modeling things you go into noise mode. So it's all the way from regular LFO through physical modeling all the way into noise, with 2 extra extremes. If you go beyond normal, you go in super slow motion mode, and if you go beyond chaos, you go sort of out the other end, and it quantizes the noise again. So you have this sort of musical noise sampling, and it's all available with the modulation input, so you can sweep through the story with modulation in your patch.
It seems to be that the modules you guys pick are also fairly unique. I mean, that seems to be one of the things, is that I don't see these kinds of modules elsewhere. At least it's very niche in the sense that it's different.
Yeah, we have, the look, we're more colorful. Our trademark is the bright yellow knobs, and what is it? Teal faceplates, and the pattern that's on them. But content-wise, we agreed to never make something that's already out there, because it's already out there.
And if it's already out there, go back to the roots of why it has to exist in the first place. Why do you want an LFO? Mostly because you want some sort of automate Steve away, because Steve is holding the knob for you and twiddling the cutoff. And just, Steve, can you go sort of repetitive over an hour and do this thing? No, I don't like Steve anymore. Go away. I need a device. And I asked this device to modulate the cutoff for me during the whole track. And I almost never want that device to do a pure sine wave over time. So what do I want it to do for me? And then we came up with this storyline. Okay, this is sort of the minimum expectancy. If I want to have something and it's going to repeat over time, then these are the things I want. And if I don't want it to repeat over time, we get to the edge cutter, which is sort of the same treatment. But what do I want an envelope to do for me? And why should this envelope exist? And that's how we go to our modules.
Mm-hmm. The envelope viewer is fantastic in the sense that it's actually you're trying explaining to envelope and how an envelope works to people. Being able to actually see how that works is actually, and I think especially in modular, I think is a really interesting, unique way of looking at that as well.
There's a fantastic video of Molten Music who's trying to get into envelopes, and he's explaining to the camera, like, I understand what they do, I have a studio, I make music, but I never really got it. Why? And then he unboxes and hooks up an edge cutter, and you see him like 10 minutes in the video getting it.
Whoa!
Like, oh, that's why. So that's, I think that's the most amazing advertising for our product.
And the Tuesday, which is the generative sequencer.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Procedural sequencer.
Procedural.
Something like that. Yeah.
How is that different? Because that's the one that I wasn't. I looked at, but
from a normal sequencer.
Yeah. Well, just as far as how do you see people using that?
We have a friend of ours keeps calling it grids for melodies.
Yes, that's sort of in function what it does.
Yeah. So using it that way, probably, to instead of just a beat, to hold a melody for you while you patch in other things and make some more noise around it.
But for me, it was also what when I got into modular, I bought a big system and I was playing around with it, and one thing I missed was just something that could just keep playing a melody for me in the background that I sort of agree with while I'm working on a nice sound. And then I remembered a little program that a friend of me made. One of my, I wouldn't call him a mentor, but one of the guys that taught me a lot about programming, mostly by showing how not to do it. This guy is Arguelles. I don't even remember his last name. He's known by the name of Arguru online. He did a whole bunch of software synthesizers for Fruity Loops and for Buzz, which is how I know him. But one of the tiny programs he made is called Psycho, and it was a one button click psytrance generator program. So you just open it up, you press go, and it has a whole track for you already done. And another friend used that program to release an entire album with only completely generated tracks, and he made thousands of euros on mp3.com back in the days just using this tiny thing. So when I got to the point that I would like something to play a melody in my Eurorack, I remember this program, and I sat down with a friend and opened it up in an emulator and decided to just reverse engineer it and see how it was done. We found out it was so simple that we said, well, we can do this better. So we started building the algorithms that ended up in Tuesday. Yeah. And that's pretty much the story. There's even some wings to the original Psycho inside Tuesday. If you go into the manual, you see some algorithms.
It's called Psycho.
It's called Psycho, but it's not entirely the same. Okay. But it's close enough. It's Psycho converted to fit in the...
Because you guys do a bit of software as well.
Yes,
lots of software.
Lots of software. Doing DSP audio related software for about 20 years now. Mostly for Jazz Club Buzz plugins and VST plugins, game audio engines. We released a complete educational modular software synthesizer called Block that I used to teach audio design with at the Dutch Media Technology School for about 5 years in a row. Lots of reverse engineering, lots of non-audio related programming, but yeah, I started out in software and then moved on to hardware. No, the whole reason we got into hardware, somewhere halfway, I think 2010 or between 2008 and 2010, I stopped doing audio software commercially because the market was just flooded with quality. So that's free quality even, because I couldn't compete against my own freeware anymore because I already gave away so much. Why should I ask money for this if I can already download it over there? So I sort of went out for a while and did other things. But then the Synton guys visited us because they were looking for people that could do USB firmware for them.
Yeah.
And they were looking for a team that could do stuff with audio and understood audio. So by the time they got to our place, they asked us our demands for our price for what it would cost to develop this digital system for them. And we were so honored that they were there already. That, well, we don't want money because money, that's not our thing. We do, however, want a copy of the finished product. This is going to be a Synton device, it's going to be legendary, we want one. Okay, deal. We also want it to be open source, whatever we do. Deal.
But our part of it.
Our part of it,
Can't
yeah.
talk about their
I can't part of it. We want our logo on the boot screen if there is one. Okay, deal. We want our logo on the circuit board of our bit if there is one. Okay, deal. And then came their demand. This is all fine under one condition. Next super booth, you are in the booth beside us releasing your own product or this is no deal. So that's when we had to develop the Tuesday.
As good a reason as any to get into hardware.
Yeah, so
having your arm twisted is that's always a good way of doing it.
Yeah, so we were sort of forced into developing our own company around these things just to be allowed to work on their stuff. And
To be fair, you already had some modules back then. And
Yes.
You were building them. You just
Not at
hadn't
this
thought
scale.
of producing them and selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, YouTube.